Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here. I have my week 2 battle of SPL. Now, I'm going to put it in dark mode just for those that always ask me about dark mode. I don't personally like it, but I think for this it's fine because I don't really, the chat doesn't matter too much to me, and it's just mainly focusing on this. So I guess for now I'll be courteous of those watching at night, my European viewers and whatnot. But anyway, this is week 2 of SPL. I'm still playing RU. If you guys didn't know, Mellowhead actually just got banned, I believe, but it's not banned during the time of this game. But yeah, Mellowhead actually just got banned from the RU tier. So, RedEmption is also a YouTuber, and he's done pretty well in Smogon. He also has a team trophy, I believe, and definitely has made a name for himself. But yeah, we'll be playing RU. I believe we both suffered losses last week, so we're both going into this one 0-1, trying to get our first one. But I'll actually link him down below if you guys want to check out his channel. Now, when I see his team, automatically in my notes I wrote 4 attacks Needle Queen, Stealth Rock Bronzong, probably SD, All Out Pummeling, Virizion, Bandit Snorlax, Defog Mantine, Choice Scarf Gardevoir with maybe Healing Wish to better support Needle Queen, because I feel like a lot of people always bring Needle Queen plus Choice Band Lax versus me, and it's a really good call. This team actually reminded me of a lot of Pogus' when we played back in Slam playoffs, but it's really good versus me because I love to run like balance, bulky offense. More so balance, I think, is my go-to when it comes to tournaments. But yeah, so looking into it, I know that my Mandibuzz is going to be very, very important. We actually made it Brave Bird prior to this battle because Virizion was such a problem. I know that Mantine is going to be annoying too, and I also know that Machamp, if it gets in versus Bronzong, Snorlax, even Mantine, it pretty much picks up a KO because it's Flame Orb Guts Machamp. Now, on lead matchup, I was really... So I'm going towards that endgame with Machamp basically plowing through everything, either weakening Mantine or getting rid of it to the point where maybe Celebrate Meloetta can punch some more holes. Using Slowbro to pivot in on Lax. Obviously, if it's Curse Lax, Machamp checks it as well. But on lead matchup, I was very, very, very paranoid about him leading off with Snorlax. Like, I figured Needle Queen would be a great lead versus me because it does well versus every single Pokemon on my team besides Meloetta, and he has Snorlax as a switch-in, but I didn't want to lead off with Meloetta to deal with Needle Queen because obviously, you could just go hard Snorlax and then pursue Trap Me, right? And he still has a full HP Bronzong and potentially Haze Mantine. So a lot of things going into that. I decided to lead off with my Mandibuzz. I am max special, or almost max special defense. I have some defense just for this Pokemon in particular. But I am a Spadef Mandibuzz, and it matched up well versus everything besides Toxic Mantine and Gardevoir. So he does lead off on Needle Queen. This isn't too bad. Basically, the only way he could 2-hit KO me is if he either crits me or his Thunder. Now, I thought about this turn a lot, whether I could Roost or go for actually Foul Play initially, just to get the damage on Needle Queen so Facade knocks it out for Machamp late game. So I kind of committed to that Machamp coming in and picking up kills. So I went for Foul Play here. Obviously, if he had Thunder, it also had a 30% chance to miss. So it goes for Thunderbolt, as now I'm just going to go for Roost as he ends up switching out into his Gardevoir. Now, more than likely a Moonblast or Psychic coming out here. I go Metagross. He predicts that very nicely. Goes for Wisp. Solid play. Main reason I didn't go Slowbro there as a pivot into Metagross is because Slowbro being healthy can Thunder Wave a Virizion. Even a Bloom Doom Virizion can Thunder Wave a Gardevoir, can take a hit from Needle Queen. So like I didn't really value Metagross as much just for rocks and just as a pivot into Gardevoir. But getting Metagross here, I'm going to go for rocks only because I want to force the Mantine to defog, and this will allow me to get him Machamp for free this turn, right? I needed to go Mantine. I could have pursued it there for a little bit of chip for late game Machamp's Bullet Punch, but I need to get my Machamp in, and this is one of the Pokemon I can get it in. Now, I didn't want him Scalding this turn, so I went for Rocks to force the defog, as now I'm able to get in my Guts Machamp, and we are going to click Facade here, and something is going to be 2-hit KO'd. Bronzong gets 2-hit KO'd, Needle Queen goes down. As you can see, Facade does 66, so he's running some Spadef for Meloetta. Very important. I could have went for knockoff here, but there's no point. Facade knocks out Needle Queen after the foul play damage. Facade into close combat knocks out Bronzong. Facade knocks out Gardevoir. Facade puts Virizion in range of Bullet Punch. So Facade again is my play as he goes out to Needle Queen, and I'm able to get rid of a giant 4-attack Needle Queen threat. So he's going to bring out his Virizion now. We're going to make the Mandibuzz play just as a pivot on the close combat. Basically, if he went for Swords Dance here, First off, he might be just scouting for the Brave Bird. But second, if he went for Swords Dance here, could have been a little bit tough for me. He also could have went for All Out Pummeling here, but him switching out leads us to believe that he's not Continental Crush or All Out Pummeling. He's probably Bloom Doom, which I think is also a good call versus my type of builds. But I get him Mandibuzz. I'm going to go for Roost as he brings out. I thought about this play a lot. Do I Roost or do I Brave Bird? Because if he sets up a Swords Dance and he is All Out Pummeling, he can knock me out. But I feel like it makes more sense for him to pivot into potentially Gardevoir, potentially Bronzong. So as you can see, my timer went all the way down here. I was just running a whole bunch of calcs on every single move. But I go for Roost now as he brings out Gardevoir. Essentially, Mandibuzz at full, I can bring out my Metagross, and once again, I'm going to do the same thing. I doubt he'd let Gardevoir take damage for Bullet Punch, so I go for Rocks just to force the Mantine to defog, and so I can get him my Machamp. He makes a good play and goes for Skull. Oh no, he goes for Roost here. Okay, Roost was still a good play either way, but I get in my Machamp, and what I can do now is just knock off. I opt to knock off over Facade first, because basically getting rid of Mantine's leftovers puts it in range of Brave Bird. I get a crit here too, which is pretty crucial. He opts to not defog and actually go for Scald because he wants to limit my Machamp switch-ins. It makes sense. The crit basically made it so I can go for Close Combat here over Facade. So kind of big, because maybe he would have pivoted into Bronzong there, but I kind of doubt it at the same time because that's one of his answers to Meloetta, which is a giant threat. So we could argue that crit mattered. It may have. If he puts up his side, you'll understand, or you'll at least see it. But this was cool because he obviously wanted to limit my Machamp switch-ins, but I also keep up Rocks, which again weakens Gardevoir for +1 Meloetta, weakens what I'm assuming is Choice Band Snorlax, so I stand by that. So you can bring out Gardevoir now and basically pick up a KO. I could Bullet Punch here for later, that way it can't come in on Rocks, but I think it's just better to bring in my Metagross and sack it. If I had Bullet Punch, I would go for it here, but the idea is, okay, I can get him Meloetta for free. I can Z-Celebrate as long as he doesn't get a special attack drop. That'd be really nice. He doesn't get it. I Z-Celebrate, and now I basically pick up a KO. He's probably not going to sack Gardevoir. I didn't want him pivoting into Snorlax on a Shadow Ball, so I went for Psychic here. He switched out though into Bronzong, anticipating my Hybrid Voice, which is a fire play anyway. I don't think the Spadef drop mattered at all because I did 2-hit KO Bronzong anyway. It's essentially specs, and the reason I don't think it matters is because he didn't actually attack my Meloetta. He opted to go for Rocks here, and his thought process is, okay, I'm going to limit that Machamp switch-in because that Bullet Punch is definitely threatening for my Gardevoir. But he brings out Snorlax now. I'm going to throw off a Focus Blast. I do so much damage, and he's able to knock me out with a Choice Band return. So I have a few options here. I could bring out Scarf Gudra. I am a Scarf Gudra because the team is really a Raikou weak, and it's also an option in the late game versus Virizion. For example, Bullet Punch into Fire Blast, or even Ice Beam from Slowbro on Virizion puts it in range of Fire Blast, or really close to it if he goes for Close Combat, which he's going to be forced to because I have a Gudra, right, with Sap Sipper. So I have a few options here. I think my best option is to go Slowbro. Now, the reason I think Slowbro is because if he goes Virizion, he can't knock me out with Bloom Doom at full because I always go for Slack Off here. And if he goes Gardevoir, I get the damage I need on that for Bullet Punch or Brave Bird from Mandibuzz. So essentially, another thing is that if he switches out Slowbro and comes, Snorlax and comes back in, it dies to Scald. Whereas here, it doesn't die to Scald. But I don't want to risk getting the Scald burn. What I opt to do is basically slack off till I'm at full, and then fish a little bit with Paras, as you guys will see. Because again, Slowbro basically meant that I got off. That's ridiculous how strong that is, by the way. This is a fully Fizz-Def Slowbro, but yeah, Thunder Wave means that I'm guaranteed faster than Snorlax, and basically I can fish a little bit here. The idea is to keep Snorlax at full to the point where if he goes Virizion after, I can safely Thunder Wave or even Ice Beam for damage if I don't want to risk Thunder Wave missing. But yeah, like I said, if Snorlax does have to switch out like he does, it dies to Scald upon entry. Brings out Gardevoir, which is a little bit interesting to me because I was thinking, okay, what are you going to do, Healing Wish here? Or are you going to give me a Thunder Wave on this thing? And what I opt to do here is definitely Thunder Wave. I take the hit. He gets a special attack drop, which is a little bit annoying because it means that I can't knock him out with the Brave Bird initially, but if he switches, I can. So I opt to Scald here over Slack Off. The reason I made this play is because I can then go out into Machamp and pick up a KO no matter what. If he switches out Gardevoir and comes back in, it guaranteed dies to Brave Bird from Mandibuzz. Brave Bird knocks out Virizion. I have Foul Play / Brave Bird for the 9% Snorlax. So I opt to sack my Slowbro here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my Machamp I could have clicked close comment, but there was no way he was going Virizion anyway. That's his win con. He definitely committed to the Virizion win. So I went for Bullet Punch there as he's going to bring out Virizion. There's no way I'm going for Bullet Punch here and having him Swords Dance. So I go for close combat as he knocks me out with the Leaf Blade, and I'm able to bring out my Mandibuzz. Now, my Mandibuzz is out of range of All Out Pummeling. Continental Crush has I think it's like an 8% or 12% chance to KO me. So he was thinking that maybe I have Toxic, maybe I have Foul Play. The reason this was fine, even if I didn't have Brave Bird, well, if I didn't have Brave Bird, it'd be harder. But I still had Scarf Goodra in the back to deal with these. But he goes for Swords Dance here, not anticipating me to have Brave Bird. Again, this was a change that we made last. Shout out to Cristo. I also had a dream that RedEmption had Virizion 2, which made us also change it. But yeah, basically Mandibuzz is able to clean up in the end game there, and I'm able to win. So now I am 1-1 in SPL. We picked up a win. I definitely needed this win. A little bit of a confidence booster. I don't think I regret any of the plays I made. Because I knew how my end game was going to go with Mandibuzz, I don't regret sacking Slowbro to Gardevoir. As I mentioned, that damage on Scald was important because if Gardevoir opted to switch out and he brought in his Snorlax and then sacked that and tried to bring in Gardevoir later, it was still in range of Mandibuzz's Brave Bird, so he couldn't ever bring it in at that point. And even if something happened where Virizion became a little bit more annoying, it would have to close combat Mandibuzz to knock it out. And then I had Goodra in the back to go for Fire Blast versus that, or depending on it. So I felt like I did what I had to do here. Obviously, he had a really good initial early turn of Will-O-Wisting my Metagross because it made it a little bit useless. It was Shuckleberry Metagross too, so it could have dealt with Nidoqueen as well. It actually was a pretty decent problem versus his team, but between Bronzong and Mantine, he had ways of it. But I do hope you guys all enjoy it. Thank you everybody for watching, and good games to RedEmption. If you guys want to check out his channel, I'll link it down below. Goodbye, my friends.